What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have an update video on DraftKings Sportsbook stock. Today they released some bullish news, so I want to go through all that, give you guys my overall thoughts, and tell you guys what this means for the stock. The stock price did run up during the day, but lost most of its gains towards the closing of the day. If I have time, we'll take a look at the chart and give you guys an idea of where we could go. But if you guys are a DraftKings investor, make sure to smash the like button. It helps get this video out to other investors. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already a part of the community. And with that being said, let's get started. So today, DraftKings announced that they will be launching their online sportsbook in Oregon. They partnered up with Oregon Lottery. Now, this news isn't new. This was announced back in August, I believe. But today's announcement is clarifying that they will be launching this next week. So I'll share a few highlights that I think are important for the stock, along with telling you guys what this means for DraftKings. Following the successful launch of its top-rated online sportsbook in New York last week, we did talk about this last week. This is massive for DraftKings. They're one of 4 sportsbook operators in New York right now, and I believe DraftKings is the only one operating as of now. Caesars Sportsbook might be operating by now, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that. But anyway, today they announced that they will become the official sportsbook provider of Oregon Lottery. And honestly, this is pretty big because if you didn't know, Oregon Lottery is actually a monopoly in Oregon, but I'll get more into that in just a bit. DraftKings Sportsbook will replace the current scoreboard app. The transition is set to begin January 18th, so like I said, next week. Scoreboard customers will be able to create a DraftKings account and transfer their existing funds to the DraftKings Sportsbook app at that time. So that's going to help DraftKings user growth by transitioning a lot of these existing users to their platform. This also kind of helps gather new users because, like I said, Oregon is a monopoly as far as their sports betting goes. So there's a lot of people that have probably wanted to use some of DraftKings promos or sign up using DraftKings, but they haven't been able to until today. So that's going to be another way that DraftKings starts gaining more users. I want to transition over to a site to kind of give a better illustration of what Oregon can provide for DraftKings. Oregon sports betting revenue is underperforming its potential due to the state's single platform system, that is the Oregon Lottery. So using their current platform, they haven't been very successful. And that's just because of the margins and technical issues, not to mention the taxes that they have to pay. So it hasn't been a very profitable business for them. So that is one of the reasons that they are switching over to DraftKings. They're going to be able to cut down on some of that. The Oregon sports betting market has been slow but steady growth since its launch in 2019. The Oregon Lottery launched its own scoreboard app in October 2019 in partnership with SB Tech and is currently the only sportsbook available. So currently a monopoly in Oregon. The one thing I do like about Oregon is the sports betting tax rate. It is only 2.3%. That is very low. If you compare that to New York is like 51%. So this is actually pretty good for the profit margins. Moving down, I kind of want to explain a little bit of how the revenue works for sports betting. There's a thing called handle that is a total amount wagered on sports. So that's like the big pool of money. Revenue will reflect the gross gaming revenue kept sportsbook after they pay all the winnings. And then the whole percentage just shows how much revenue the sportsbook kept out of the entire handle. This is just some history from 2019 and 2020. The biggest thing that stands out to me from 2019 to 2020 is a 4x in the total handle. They went from 45 million to 218 plus million. The revenue percentage 10x'd. They did 2 to 3 million in 2019 and 20 million in 2020. And both of these numbers equate to 6.46% and 9.2%. And this just reflects the percentage of revenue out of the entire handle. Transitioning to a different article, I found a lot more interesting information in this one. The Oregon sports betting blast off with DraftKings taking over. DraftKings is taking over the only Oregon sportsbook platform later this month. As you guys know, the transitioning starts in January 18th, and that is ahead of the playoffs, so there'll definitely be some buzz around that. A more interesting fact that I found was that the scoreboard app has actually been using DraftKings SB Tech platform since it launched. So this actually makes the transition into the DraftKings platform from scoreboard a lot easier and will probably improve the experience for the users. Here's a quote from one of the lottery directors. "We are excited about the improved experience for our players, including the ability to make same game parlay bets. DraftKings is a premier provider in the US. We see benefits for lottery too, as the shift to DraftKings means fewer third-party service providers and a simpler financial structure for player accounts." So this is good. They recognize that DraftKings is a premier name, and by making the switch to DraftKings, they're going to be able to improve the experience and be able to cut down on some of the service providers, thus helping Oregon increase their margins. I was reading that one of their big setbacks for Oregon was their margins and the technical issues that they were having when they launched the sports betting app. So this is going to definitely help in all those categories. Now from the DraftKings side, how does that benefit them? I'm not exactly sure how the deal is. I'm guessing they're going to make a percentage from each betting handle. But like I mentioned earlier, this is also going to help DraftKings with their user growth. And like I said earlier, Oregon does have a monopoly in the sports betting. So as far as right now, DraftKings will have complete control in the sports betting in Oregon, similar to what they're doing in New Hampshire, since they're actually also the exclusive providers in New Hampshire. Scrolling on down, this just shows how scoreboard customers will be able to transition to DraftKings. Their current open bets will still be there, and they'll have access to histories and account information for at least 6 months, but most of the functionality after that will be removed. So this just shows the commitment that Oregon is doing to transition to DraftKings. Obviously, their scoreboard app wasn't very well recognized, and so they acknowledge DraftKings will be able to help them get users and more betting into the state. This also kind of reiterates the technology that DraftKings can provide, but my guess is probably the scorebook app wasn't very user friendly, or maybe there's a lot of technical issues, which makes DraftKings platform even more lucrative. And then here I found some notes which I mentioned earlier. It got approved last August. The change has been in works for a while now, but since they were already using DraftKings SB Tech platform, this didn't take very long to transition. They also quoted the DraftKings platform is a lot more familiar to regular US sports bettors. So just further emphasizing that they acknowledge DraftKings as a premier name in sports betting. We can further take a look at how this will both benefit Oregon and DraftKings as they work together to provide sports betting for the state. As I mentioned earlier, DraftKings is the exclusive lottery partner for New Hampshire, so this will be a good way to compare the potential in Oregon using the populations and betting respectively for each state. So with Oregon's current setup, they have a population of 4.24 million. Current handle that they bring in is 298 million, so that equates to about $70 per person. In comparison, you see New Hampshire only has 1.37 million population, but their handle size are 2x what Oregon is bringing. Then that brings about $400.50 per person. So you can see the efficiency here as far as DraftKings and Oregon Lottery's current setup. So once Oregon transitions to a more efficient platform like DraftKings, hopefully the bottom line increases because Oregon does have a bigger population. If you look, the comparison is pretty obvious. New Hampshire's bringing in 617 million with only 1.37 million population. So these numbers could definitely be a lot bigger. I just don't think there's enough activity, a lot of participation. And in my opinion, I think a lot of that has to do with the current sports board app that they have. So making the switch will definitely increase some of these dollar signs. And that's going to help DraftKings revenue all the way down to the bottom line. They do add a note that New Hampshire does benefit from betting tourism from New England states as well as college sports, but an experienced operator like DraftKings can only help Oregon sports betting when it comes to marketing and bonuses. And remember, Oregon does have that monopoly now, so it could be a while for other sportsbook operators to start penetrating this state. So as of right now, DraftKings will have this market to themselves.
It's a really down to the wire situation in Florida. We have another week or two to gather signatures. And we're close, but we're not there yet. And I think it's going to be really down to the last moment. So anybody who wants to see sports betting in Florida, wants to be able to play on apps like DraftKings and others that they know and feel familiar with. And also, by the way, this if we are able to get Florida to legalize sports betting, we're going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars for education through tax revenue. So not only is it going to be great for people who want to bet, but also it's going to help a really good cause. And the way you do this is you go to FloridaEducationChampions.com. You could do one of two things. One, if you're worried about, because it is down to the wire, getting in on time, you can print out a petition, sign it, and put a stamp on it and mail it back in. If you go there today, there's probably still time though to request one sent to you. If we send it to you, we'll include the postage. So all you have to do is sign it, pop it in the mail and send it back. But we really need every last signature. I'm worried we're not going to get there. It's going to be really close. So please, everybody go to FloridaEducationChampions.com and get your name and get your signature on there. We need it.
DraftKings actually retweeted this. I wanted to share with you guys that video because it shows us that there is a possible upcoming catalyst that is going to be the decision of Florida being legalized or not. from the video, you can see that Jason shares his thoughts about how sports betting will give back to Florida. If we are able to beat Florida to legalize sports betting, we're going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars for education. So to me, there did seem to be a sign of urgency to get Florida approved. So that will be a huge catalyst whether it does get approved or not. Right now he says it's up in the air, but regardless of how the decision for Florida legalization goes, this is going to impact the stock tremendously. If it does get approved, it's going to move the stock in a big way, and if it doesn't, it would just push back some of those timelines. They would have to refile for applications and all that, and it would most likely affect the stock price negatively. So that's just something to keep in mind. Florida will definitely propel DraftKings to the next level, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. Moving over to the chart, let's take a look at the price action for today. The ticker symbol is DKNG. We are trading at $26.10 today. So the first thing I noticed for today is we did try to break above the monthly. We actually came up and touched it and came back down. You can see the day's range was $27.90, which is right above around this level here. And then from then we sold back down. Let's take a look at the smaller time frame and get a better idea of what actually happened. So it looks like at some point during pre-market we came up and touched $27.90, but after market open we did sell off all the way down to $26. The only thing that really pushed us back up was the Oregon sportsbook news, but after that we ended up selling off again. If we go back out to the 1 hour, we can get a better picture of what's going on. So we are making newer highs, guys, so that is good. Hopefully we can bounce off this descending resistance here, and then we can go back up to the next leg, and hopefully this time break the monthly. That will be big for us. Zooming further out, you can see we were in a descending triangle. Normally this could be bullish. We did get outside of that resistance, so normally you come back and retest it. So far everything seems to be going normally. I think the main thing is to get back above this level here, which would be $26.60. I am a big worried though, because we did touch the monthly twice and we got rejected, so we could come back down to $25, and so that's why I feel sometimes buying shares is the safest route. Overall though, I do like the higher lows. If the market is strong and we can bounce off of this resistance, I would be very bullish, just because we've had tons of positive news and hasn't really reflected in the stock price, and we do have playoffs for the next couple weeks, so that will definitely be good for this sector. So biggest resistance to watch is going to be the monthly level here. Keep an eye on this descending resistance as well as the $25 area. Well guys, that is all I have for today. Let me know your thoughts on DraftKings announcement. Like I said, they have been working on this for some time now, but next week will be Oregon's official transition into DraftKings, and hopefully this can become a good revenue stream for DraftKings. If you guys learned anything from this video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, keep moving forward.